The question is that the motion be agreed to. I call the member for Boothby.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. And I'd like to take this opportunity to pay tribute to one of the nice guys in politics, the member for Fisher, Bob Such, who recently passed away. Dr Such, who battled a brain tumour for 6 months, passed away aged 70. He left high school at 14 to do farm work but returned to school to study. Before entering Parliament, he was a lecturer and researcher at what is now the University of South Australia. Bob was a local resident since birth and attended Coromandel Valley Primary School. I remember him being a regular attender at events in Coromandel Valley, the community fair, the 175th anniversary celebrations, Coro Alive. Bob could always be found at the Hub Shopping Centre in Aberfoyle Park when I held, that's a new part of my electorate, and whenever I was holding a listening post, Bob would just pass by and see what was going on. I remember him being elected on the 25th of November 1989. It was a state election which was very much dominated by high interest rates, people struggling with their mortgages, and Fisher was a classic outer suburban mortgage belt seat, and still is, with families, mortgages, and people who are just trying to get ahead. He was a former Minister for Employment, Training and Further Education and Minister for Youth Affairs, a former Deputy Speaker and Chairman of Committees, and also a Speaker of the House of Assembly. He introduced numerous bills, anti-hoon bills, spent conviction laws. He always had many motions before the Parliament, including law reform of traffic infringement, men's health and women's health issues. He had some interesting niche issues as well. He proposed a scheme whereby people could have natural burials, something which is done in the UK, and he was proposing that it be available in South Australia. Bob was a kind and thoughtful man who dedicated his life to public service. He had a strong passion for politics, and he was a parliamentarian of great dignity and principle. South Australia has lost a great thinker, a motivator, and most of all, a great man. He represented his southern suburb seat for almost 25 years, and locals held him in the highest regard. Whenever I went around Aberfoyle Park and Happy Valley prior to the last election, I would often hear residents just say, "Look, I've been to see Bob about this." He was very much the first person that people would turn to. I'd like to pass on my sincerest condolences to Dr Such's wife, Lynn, his family and friends.